San Francisco 49ers John Lynch went on KNBR this morning and provided a bunch of updates on Nick Bosa, potential trade for a new defensive end, but he also provided an update on Brandon Aiyuk. And honestly, it's probably the most information he's given on Brandon Aiyuk since the injury has really occurred. They've always been kind of non-committal and really not providing a ton of information, but he did present some info, and he did mention that, although there have been no setbacks, Brandon Aiyuk isn't particularly close to return, but he obviously expands in more detail, provides some updates on George Kittle. I'll let you take a listen right here of what John Lynch had to say in regards to these players, and again, on KNBR. Take a listen right here and let me know what you think.
John Lynch, voice you hear on the Yuma guest line, Niners Jags on Sunday. Now, I kind of buried the lead here because we're talking about you're 3-0, you're a tough out, scrappy, your coffee tastes good. But obviously, the news we all got on Sunday night, Monday morning colors everything, and that's Nick Bosa. So as positive as that stuff was that we opened the interview with, it's time to sort of dive into that feeling. And man, oh man, I know you're gutted. I know everybody is. We like watching football. We like watching Nick Bosa play. So I don't know. You take us through your thought process, your emotions, John, about this injury from every angle you can.
Yeah, it didn't feel good. I was watching the play like so many were, and from my vantage point, it was just kind of a weird contortion that happened with Nick's lower half and the way he walked off. You get to know your players well, and just knowing Nick, it felt like something wasn't right. And, unfortunately, that was the case. And so, first of all, my heart just goes out to him. He puts so much into it. There's not anybody in the league that puts more into the preparation. And this is his family, his faith. This is his life. He lives for football and being the best player he can be. And my goodness, is he an incredible player? He's a difference maker. And so your heart goes out to him, and that there'll be a big void. He's an exceptional. There's really good players, and then there's guys that are flat out difference makers, and he fits into that category. He's one of the better players in football, and so it's a crushing blow to our team. But that's what this sport is. You're presented with challenges, and hopefully it can be someone's opportunity. But one player won't make up for Nick Bosa. We have to do it collectively. We're pulling for Nick. I think he'll have his surgery on Friday, and and then Nick's committed to being back here for most of his rehab, and he's a big leader on this team as well. He speaks to our guys every Saturday morning, and everyone. Nick's kind of a quiet guy, but man, there's so much wisdom in there. We all learn from him, and about mindset and where our mind should be focused on. He kind of sets that tone every week, and he'll be around doing that, but he just won't be out there on the field. So we all have to pick up our game.
Yeah, we're talking to John Lynch about the Bosa injury. So obviously what everybody wants to know is, will you guys search the market for a trade? And I know you're not going to give away all your cards. It's not prudent to do, though. But would you tell the fans out there that, yeah, we are open to acquiring talent on the market to replace Nick Bosa?
Of course. I mean, we're always looking. Prior to Nick getting hurt, that's our jobs, is to look at the market and see who might become available. And like our history shows, when you got guys like Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, and the list goes on and on of players we've acquired via trade, that we're not afraid, and we've been effective in doing that. So this is no different. I do think we're a deep group there, and that depth's going to be tested. I think we're all aware finding someone who just goes and does what Nick Bosa does, that's not very feasible, but we'll see what's out there at the appropriate time.
Give an opportunity this is now without Nick Bosa.
Well, I think the fans are seeing the same thing we're seeing. He's getting better every week. And we're asking a lot of Michael, and in that, you know, if you're a fan, just watch it. It's pretty fascinating. He'll line up at right defensive end, left defensive end. He'll line up at defensive end in a 9 technique, in a 4, in a 6 technique. He'll line up inside on pass rush, on the right side, on the left side. So to ask that much of a young man, it's a lot. But he's shown the ability to handle it, and then his effectiveness each and every week. He's getting a little more confident. A little more trusting in his techniques, and you're starting to see it pay dividends. I think he's going to be a fantastic player. I think he's just scratching the surface, and it's his future with us is really, really exciting. He kind of endured, he was chasing Kyler Murray, which isn't an easy task the other day. And he dove out there and he landed on his wrist in a tough way and sprained it a little bit, and sucked it up and got back out there and was huge for us, made a bunch of big plays for us. So Michael's doing a really nice job, and I think we're just scratching the surface of how effective of a player, how dominant of a player he can be.
Over to the offensive side of the ball, John, what can you tell us about Brock Purdy's status going into this weekend?
I can tell you he practiced yesterday, and he's at a better place on Wednesday than he was on Sunday. He worked out the day of the game, and he's continued to get better throughout this process. So the fact he was out there at practice, it's not the game. You're not getting tackled, all that, but he looked really good. And so he practiced in a limited fashion. We'll see how he responds today coming in. But his progression's been really a good one, and I think we'll see where it goes throughout the week. But it was a nice sight to see him out there leading our team yesterday.
Just going a big picture on the offensive side in terms of injuries. Is George Kittle on track? How's his rehab?
George is doing really well. We put him on that short-term IR, so that takes him through. He's not even eligible till after the Rams game. I think Tampa would be the first game that George is eligible. He's tracking well, putting in a lot of really good work, like George always does. And the cool thing about George, that energy, that presence that Kittle has, that's really unique and special. He's been here the whole time, and he's shown tremendous leadership. It's killing him not being out there. He was so prepared for this season, and happened in that first quarter at Seattle. But that happens sometimes, and George has just done what he's always done, and got back to work, and he's been a great presence around our team.
Yeah, even if he has to wear Iowa State overalls, right?
I saw that the other day. That was brutal.
Hey, man, you lose a bet, man pays his bets. We'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
And a similar question on Brandon Aiyuk. We've sort of just stashed him away in the back of our brains. How's that rehab? Any setbacks? What's the schedule?
No setbacks. I keep coming back to what. There's different levels when you do these ACLs, and Brandon had a fairly significant injury, involving a lot of different things in his knee. He's a really gifted athlete. He's a very hard worker, and so when you combine that, you tend to come back at a good clip. We're still, there's no absolutes on these things, so he's got to continue to hit markers, but he is tracking well. He's working hard, and we'll just continue to do that, and we'll be a better team when Brandon's out there, and so we look forward to that day. But it's not close. It's not, when we have some more information on that, we'll be forthright with it.